Greetings and welcome to Soul Evolution Astrology with me, Carrie Konyha. If you happen to be new to me, I am a professional psychic reader, soul guide, energy healing practitioner, and teacher in Sedona, Arizona, who is also a practitioner of evolutionary astrology. I love working with astrology and the astrological cycles of power that are always showing up as we move throughout each year as a framework to support and inform and guide our soul evolutionary journeys. And I love sharing this with all of you, which is why we're all here gathered today as we take a look at the energies showing up for the month of December 2023. I'm going to be sharing some intuitive insights around the energies shining in throughout the month of December. And then I'm going to talk about the astrological transits as well. But first, I want to bump it back to reviewing some of the energies that we're transitioning out of now as we're coming out of this last week of November. On November 27th, we had the full moon in the sign of Gemini. I did do a video about the full moon, and I'll link that up here so you can review that as well. And even though we are officially in Sagittarius season, the energy of this full moon is definitely a lot about experiencing like a big transformative reset. And that had to do with what was going on with Saturn and Pluto. Namely, we had Venus squaring Pluto at that time, Mars squaring Saturn, which just went direct after retrograding to almost the exact 0 degree mark of Pisces, which in and of itself is like a karmic reset energy. And then we had Venus opposing Chiron. And as you may know, Chiron is an asteroid that is connected to the archetype of the wounded healer and healing our own wounds. So we're still shifting out of that energy because the moon is waning now. We had the full moon and the energies are still dissipating, which brings me to the other point that I want to bring up about where we're at right now. So the energies of the full moon, we're in this dissipating energy. Literally now, December 1st through December 21st, we are literally in the darkest part of the year now, meaning that each day from now until December 21st, the sun sets a few minutes earlier, making there being increased darkness each day. In fact, December 21st, which is the winter solstice, is literally the darkest day of the entire year. So this corridor that we're in right now for this next 21 days, being the darkest time of the year, literally is the best time of year to be doing deep, introspective, healing type of work. Now, you might think, but we're in Sagittarius season, and Sagittarius is all about adventure, spirit of exploration, and things like that, which is true. And the outer expression of that energy, we will be experiencing more when we come into the new moon in Sagittarius on December 12th. Until then, the adventure, the quest for discovery that Sagittarius brings us into is more internalized right now. I feel in for delightful, positive, exuberant energies that we are going to be coming into later in the month of December. And it's been sort of like long awaited energies. But before I get into the details, let me just like tune in and share a little bit more about, the energies going on right now. It feels like this is a time where we're all taking a big exhale, a pause, a space to refine however we're calibrating in preparation for leaping into the new year in the energy of like, it is go time. I feel like we're all doing a lot of unraveling, a lot of unwinding. This past year in general, I'd say at least since summertime, has been an inward time of healing because of some of the retrograde energies that we have going on that are, by the way, shifting in December. And again, I'll talk about that part, the details astrologically in a little bit. But, we're just coming into a time where December is the last month of the year. It always, every year, is a time where we're consciously or unconsciously doing a little bit of a mental review of what our experiences have been in the past year, how far we've come with whatever intentions we set at the beginning of the year. And we're all feeling a little bit road weary from everything we've experienced in this past year, including, there's still craziness going on in the world right now, a lot of it. And we're all feeling a little bit like, whew, this is a really good time for the next few weeks to just give yourself this space of exhaling, tuning in, tending to your self-care. In fact, we've been talking about some of these topics in my intuitive development master course that I have going on right now. One of the things that we've been talking about, being that we are in the darkest part of the year right now, is that this is a time to really focus on your inner self-development. I would say at least until we get to the new moon on December 12th. So that's just like, the next week and a half. I know a lot of us are starting to feel a little bit angsty, like, come on, we're ready. We're ready to bust out of the gate. We're ready to just be in the new year, fresh start. And we are getting there. But I promise you, taking the time to just give yourself a little bit of self-care, self-nurturing, focusing on your self-development now, and I'm going to give you some exact suggestions in a minute here, ultimately is going to fast track you, because doing the inner work now is you putting all of the internal structures in place so when the energy shifts in ways that lead us into our exuberance and more of our externalized creative expressiveness, we're going to feel completely dialed in, harmonized, and ready to go. One of the best things that we can do for ourselves right now regarding our self-development and our self-awareness is just having it on your radar about mindfully practicing, learning to perceive your experiences in terms of vibration and energy. Ultimately, when we are on a healing journey, what are we healing? What are we clearing? We're healing, we're integrating, we're clearing anything that has been a discordant energy for us, anything that has served to fragment our wholeness. So learning to perceive your experiences in the form of vibration and energy will help you to have a clearer awareness around what to shift out of and what to shift more into. Shamanically speaking, the teaching is that chronic hindrances in our lives exhaust us and deplete us energetically. And we as humans really are not meant to be living in chronic states of distress at all. And so many of us do. So when you can learn to perceive your experiences in terms of vibration and energy, and noticing how your energy field is impacted by your various experiences that you have in life, you can have more of a clarity of awareness around where your growth work is. What do you need to unravel from? And how can you put yourself in a position where you're living in more ease, grace, harmony, and balance, because it's when we are living in that space that we're able to be our more authentic self. And the more we're connected with our authentic self, the more we are able to tap into that timeline path of our highest fulfillment. So, however that shows up for you. In fact, this is reminding me, just a little sidebar here, as we're preparing to come into 2024, I am now offering my annual life path readings through my website. You can visit my website at holisticspsychic.com. Check out the description. It's basically a combination of taking a look at your astrological natal chart, specifically looking at indicators that are connected to why you were born into the world and what your true soul calling is. We also look at the current transits for 2024 and how it's impacting your unique chart and how you can leverage those energies to support what your growth oriented or manifestation goals are. And then we combine that, of course, with psychic insights, soul guidance, consulting the tarot, all of that wrapped up in one. So if that sounds like something that you'd love to leap into the year with, go ahead and check out my website, reach out and get that session booked. It is a session that I offer globally through video chat. And with that, let's start getting into some of these details as to the significant astrological transits that are happening in December, and of course, how we can utilize that to support our soul evolution. So on December 1st, we have Mercury going into Capricorn. Mercury in Capricorn is very strategic, very goal-oriented. Capricorn is a practical, pragmatic, grounded, earthy energy, and Mercury being about ideas, thoughts, knowledge, education, learning, things like that, makes this a really good time, literally, to do some prioritizing for yourself. Make lists of what you're intending to invest your energy into in 2024. This is one tool that we can utilize to get that foundational framework in place so that as the energies are opening up and shifting as we move through this month, you're going to be ready to just bust out of the gate in January into that new year. I really feel this. A lot of times in the new year, if you've noticed, it takes us a few weeks before we really feel ready to bust into the new year energy with enthusiasm. The first few weeks of January typically feel a little bit more restful and sluggish, but I feel that this year is going to be a little bit different, where we're going to be bursting into exuberance and getting into the new year pretty much right away. So December 1st, Mercury goes into Capricorn. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio. So we have some significant ingresses happening this month, which are the main things that I'm going to be talking about. The details as far as the aspects, the trines, the sextiles, the squares, the oppositions, I'm going to be talking about those things more as I'm coming on here for the new moon and full moon update throughout the month. So here we're talking about the more significant things, the ingresses, the planets moving into new signs, the retrogrades, and then the directs, things like that. So Venus enters Scorpio on December 4th, and it's staying there through December 29th. So pretty much for the whole month, Venus is going to be in Scorpio. So Venus is the planet of beauty, harmony, love, relationship themes, and it can be like self-love as well. Scorpio seeks and desires a depth of connection. So Venus in Scorpio this month is bringing like this awakening, I should say, awakening a deep desire to have a stronger, soulful connection with yourself and others. And it feels like this is going to be a beautiful connection that we're experiencing throughout the month. In fact, on Christmas Day, I'm skipping ahead, but on Christmas Day, Venus in Scorpio is trining Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune does go direct on December 6th. So I'll talk a little bit more about the Christmas Day trine in a little bit, but the December 6th Neptune going direct in Pisces is pretty big because it's been retrograde since June. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, the modern ruler of Pisces. And so Neptune has to do with our spiritual nature primarily. It also is our creative side, our intuitive side. And Pisces represents those same things. So Neptune in Pisces is a strong placement because it's Pisces being in its natural ruler of Neptune. It's been retrograde since June, which means that we've all been in this conscious or unconscious mode of soul searching on some level. You could look to see where the Pisces house in your chart is to get a little bit more detailed information about exactly what area of your life you've been doing soul searching in. But the really cool thing about Neptune going direct in Pisces on December 6th is all of those soul searching internal curiosities and wonderings and discoverings that we've been doing since this summer, again, consciously or unconsciously, begin now to take shape, come into our conscious awareness in the form of some type of concrete inspiration to share our energies, ourselves, our soul gifts with the world in ways that are connected to the soul connection that we have achieved ultimately through that searching that we have been doing. So that's one of the main things that's happening in December that's going to bring us into the energy of the new year. We're in this exuberance of, I know who I am, and I'm ready to shine the light of who I am and what my soul gifts are. I'm ready to show up to contribute those things to humanity for the sake of the collective good. That's going on for all of us collectively, and that energy is being triggered on the 6th. On the 12th is when we have the new moon in Sagittarius. I will be coming on and making a separate video about that, but I feel that that is when we're all going to be really feeling the fullness of the energy of Sagittarius season. This is where we're going to start really tapping into that holiday cheer spirit. We're going to want to be interacting, attending holiday parties and events, and just being social with our friends and enjoying the energy of that. That's when that energizing spirit of adventure and quest for discovery is going to be more externally expressed within how we are interacting with people. Until then, again, it's more of that internal exploring and discovery energy. On December 12th, the same day, Mercury in Capricorn goes retrograde. So between now and December 12th, I mean, we're already in the shadow period of it, but this is still a good time to be jotting down your manifestation ideas on paper. It's definitely not going to be a time anytime in December to launch any type of big project. This is the time for getting the foundational structure of those things in place, in the way of the resources are in place, the ideas are in place, the information is in place, doing the behind the scenes preparation work is what the energy is good for. It's going to be more like coming into January, February, March. I would say really mid-February and beyond into March. The spring, between mid-February and the spring equinox, is going to be the best time for fully launching into manifestation mode. But again, the foundation starts now. Okay, here's another really cool thing that is happening for us. And this happens every year around this time, December 18th through December 20th. The sun in Sagittarius is going to be conjunct, aligned with the galactic center, which resides at 27 degrees Sagittarius. Now, the sun represents in astrology our core identity. It's who we are. It's the light that we shine. And of course, we all get a big dose of cosmic radiant energy, especially at this time when the sun is conjunct the galactic center. So between the 18th and the 20th are days where we're having a remembrance of who we are, like, oh yeah, now I remember this is who I am. But it's going to be not so much on a conceptual level, more of a vibration or energy level. You're going to feel dropped into yourself. You're going to feel that influx of radiance of who you are as a soul light, so to speak. And that feels like this is another layer of really just fully, delightfully embracing who we are and almost feeling excited about being in that space again after having a year of a lot of this, a lot of trying to rev up and then going underground, right? So if this past year has been like this, I feel like 2024 is going to be more like this. There's, going to be some little things here and there, especially with we've got a big shifts with Pluto happening, but it feels more of a steady progression forward is a good way to describe it, I guess. Like not as many ups and downs. So alignment with the galactic center, the 18th through the 20th. December 21st, the sun enters Capricorn. And it's also the winter solstice day. So it's the shortest day of year on December 22nd. From that day forward through the summer solstice, we're increasing in light already. So seriously, no joke, any of you who are still doing deep healing work, it's between now and December 21st is your best time. I mean, you can always do healing work throughout the year, but doing things in alignment with the cycles of nature is going to give you the most aligned results, right? So the midst of summer, when everything's in full manifestation mode, is not so much the time of going within and doing deep healing work, because that's not how we're naturally feeling. Now is when we're naturally feeling like going within, nesting, cozying in, nurturing ourselves, tending to our self-development. So do that now. If you have some type of prosperity altar at your home or a meditation altar, the winter solstice is a good day to refresh your sacred space, your meditation area, with representations of sunlight and life force energy, because that's what we're beginning to celebrate again once we get to the winter solstice. On December 22nd, Mercury is still retrograde, but it goes back into Sagittarius, which is what it's just coming out of now. So it will be a time of revisiting the themes that you had going on in November and perhaps picking something up where you left off and you didn't quite get to complete, or even get going yet. It's going to be a time to bring that back in. It's going to be a revisiting from Mercury themes that were showing up for you in your personal life in this past November. December 25th, Christmas Day, is a glorious day. I feel with Venus in Scorpio, which is that craving for deep connection with ourselves, with others, but I'm feeling it in an empowered type of way, not in like a clingy, needy, codependent type of way. Trining Neptune and Pisces. This is a time, Christmas Day and around Christmas Eve, the day after, around that time, this is a time of experiencing deeply enriching, soulful connections. And I feel like it's a time where our deepest desires around connection with ourselves and others can happen in some way. We get to have our Christmas wish of deep soul connection with our loved ones. And that feels really, really good. Okay, another huge one, Chiron on December 26th goes direct in Aries. Chiron has been retrograde since July. Chiron being the asteroid that has to do with the archetype of the wounded healer, and it shows us where our wounds are and where we need to heal. We've been in this deep inner explorative journey, sort of underworld journey with that since July. But now, as it's going direct, we all get to leave the past behind and connect with renewed strength, courage, vitality, vibrance, and ambition to move forward into the new year as our healed, integrated, empowered self. So that's, I think, one of the biggest gifts that December is bringing us. And it's the last few days of the month coming into the new year. December 29th, Venus moves into Sagittarius. So Venus moves from the watery sign of Scorpio and wanting to have that deep, deep soul connection into the fire of Sagittarius, which means we want to play, we want to have fun, we want to be adventurous in love. Whether this is something that you're sharing as an expression of self-love or love with friends, family, co-workers, neighbors, life partners, there's this energy of playful exuberance, adventure, discovery that we want to share with the people that we love. And so it feels like it's going to be a continuation of that depth of connection that we get to experience while Venus is in Scorpio, but then sort of taking it out into the manifested world a little bit more and sharing that connection in more tangible ways rather than just at the internal soul level of ways. Okay, saving the best for last. On December 30th, Jupiter goes direct in the sign of Taurus. It's been retrograde since September. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, good fortune in the sign of Taurus. Ultimately is going to lend itself to positive energy in the direction of what our manifestation goals are in the coming year. So you can see here how as we're getting farther into the month, the energies are getting brighter and lighter, more fiery, enthusiastic, which really internally fuels our ambitions for the year ahead. The big things that I have stars by in my notes here: Neptune direct in Pisces on December 6th. Look to see where the Pisces sector of your chart is and let me know below where that's at so we can talk about that for you. And then Christmas Day is going to be a big day. I want you all to chime in here on Christmas Day. Come back to this video and let me know how that day shaped up for you with the Venus and Scorpio trining, Neptune in Pisces. The 26th is another star day, Chiron direct in Aries. We get newfound strength, courage, confidence. And then December 30th with Jupiter going direct is massive. Look in your chart. Tell me in the comments below where these transits are impacting your chart, and maybe even share a little bit about how you suspect that this is going to inspire or positively impact you. And I'm happy to give you my own feedback as well. Just put your posts in the comments below. All my love, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here, but I am going to be chiming back in for a new moon update and then, of course, a full moon update. Let me know how you like this month ahead overview, because I'm thinking about continuing to do it every month in 2024. Please do give me your feedback on this. Love you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.